We go. Hi.
Yeah. Hello. Uh, and, I'll start my introduction again. And tonight's special guest is Kierra Audrin. Kierra is going to speak to us about her experience as a seer. Um, so welcome. We're very happy to be speaking to you tonight. Um, and we have a lot of questions, I guess. So basically, what what exact service do you offer clients as a seer? Um, I guess we'll start there.
Sure. First of all, hi, Mark. I'm Kira. It's a pleasure to meet you. And hello, everybody. I want to thank you for your time and our connection this evening, wherever you are in the world. Um, the services that I currently provide as a seer are many. So as a seer, this is one of our higher faculties, if you will, as being a psychic. So I offer psychic services, but and quantum healing services. But ultimately, I really prefer to train people in their sight or their healing abilities or their psychic abilities, so that way they can continue to open up their channels to divine inspiration, divine intelligence. I think and that there's a lot of information out there in the universe, and we have our own built-in intelligence. And as we move through our awakening process, there's a lot of cosmic noise out there as we are learning to. Well, I don't want to say learning to. Our planet has a history of interfacing with interdimensional beings, but as a seer, I like people to be tapped into their sovereignty. So I I provide insight, healing abilities through my psychic senses, and I run a YouTube channel to where I provide cosmic information for the star system, our planet, and how the human species is evolving.
Very good. And you're obviously a very young person. When did you find that you had these abilities, the special abilities that most of us don't perceive that we have, but something you've recognized, I assume, at a very early age?
Yeah. So when I was a child, um, I didn't know that I was perceiving life a little bit differently than others. um, I I could see, so I could see energy. I'm an empath like many of us. So I could see, feel, and palpate energy. Um, and a lot of that came in through the natural world first, and then I would have some experiences at night, which I don't want to say were like lucid dreams, but they were interdimensional experiences. I'll say it like that. Waking interdimensional experiences. Um, and then as I got older, um, so I'm Peakery Native American, urban indigenous specifically. I did not grow up on the reservation. So I know that some of this was in my blood, as far as being like a medicine person, or having the genes to maybe be like a shaman or something like that. When I was about 7 or 8 years old, that's when I knew that I was a medium, but I didn't have the language. I was just like, I see a ghost, or I see this, you know what I mean? And so those were some of like the more what I would call dense or lower dimensional experiences that I'm not the only person on the planet that's had them, where we are in a lower vibration, where we have access to, unfortunately, those who have not already transcended or crossed over. And then I had I would say more enlightened experiences at the age of 11 to 14. And then after a really big experience that I had in the church, actually, that's when my sight, interdimensional contact to the angelic realm, specifically Enoch, more interfacing with interdimensional beings, God, of course, has always been present, really took off. And then my natural healing abilities came online at the age of 14. And so it's been, my personal experience has been like, what, this curiosity of like, what is this? How come I can see auras, or now that I know some terminology, but then this intelligence that tells me what to do with it. And that's why today, I'm 36 years old. That's why today I prefer to train people who not just have these experiences, but know that they are here to manipulate energy or heal with their psychic senses, their healing ability, natural innate healing abilities. And that starts with the ability to see and listen.
Very good. But it sounds like this is something you don't have to set aside special time, meditation, or to present yourself in a special way. It's something that just flows to you continually.
No, absolutely not. I believe in what you practice, you embody. And so my psychic abilities, I asked for them to go away when I was about 18. My sight went away, my ability to channel went away, my ability to heal went away. And then because it was too much. You know, we're still human. And with that much information and high vibration, people can have, I'm going to change gears real quick. In what's called Sankhya philosophy, if there's too much energy, meaning a high frequency that enters the body through the spine or kundalini, that comes in contact with the brain through the pineal gland, people can have a psychotic break. It can be too much. It can cause psychosis. And with my human experiences and my inability, well, I don't want to say inability because I've done great. Good job, Kierra. My wisdom at the time, I asked God, I was like, this is too much. Like, I'm a student, I'm living by myself, I have 3 jobs. Like, I don't know what to do with all this information. People think I'm crazy already. Like, I would like a normal life, you know? So I asked for the gifts to go away. And then finally it was like probably about 6 months. I was like, God, give them back. And then they came back. But then I had to practice, of course. And still, you know, meditation, nurturing and nourishing the body in these vessels, these chambers. I mean, they're channels. So if I don't practice still, the information is going to be there, but it may not be as heightened. And I'm interested personally as a soul to evolve and then contribute through my own evolution. So yeah, practice.
So, and what is the quantum healing?
Mm-hmm. I came up with my own method. So in 2017, I founded an accredited school based upon quantum healing, quantum coding, which is different than healing. So the quantum field, this is Kierra-ology here. So the quantum field is, I would like to explain it as formlessness, no time, omnipresence, information, data, frequency, sound, vibration, shapes, colors that we have access to as human beings. We are interfacing with it, exploring it. We see it through technology today, but we are the technological beings. We can manipulate it. So the quantum field is essentially data, information, numbers, frequencies, sounds, vibrations. Now, because we are vibrational beings, we magnetize energy. through our own vibrational experiences, through our emotional consciousness, our spiritual consciousness, our mental, and that sets the vibration or the tone in the physical template, our RNA, our DNA, that can be manipulated. Mm-hmm. So I'll keep, go ahead.
No, thank you for that. When you, as a seer, when you get messages, is it like a dream? Is it like a snapshot? Is it a sensation? Something, how do you perceive these messages?
In my experience, it depends. So I'm going to answer personally, and then I'm going to answer as a trainer.
Okay.
So thank you. So sometimes, a lot of times, how I experience it is basically what I just said. I will experience sensation first, which is information that is traveling into our bioelectromagnetic field. And then it transfers the information into the third eye, which is the command center of our bodies, if you will. And that transfers data through rods and cones into our breath, colors, shapes, frequencies, etc. So a lot of times I will see people's energy field. I'm pretty staunch on privacy. So like if my soul needs to know something, then I'm going to know, like, for my own evolution or protection. But I'll see, or I'll, our clear senses, they work together, and the dominant ones will eventually open up and activate other clear senses. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to that. So sometimes I see like a screen pop up. Yes, I'll get snapshots. Sometimes, well, a lot of times if I touch somebody, I'll just see all their memories at the same time, especially if I'm healing or doing healing work with someone. I'll see their subconscious imprints. I'll know which age groups. I'll get all of their information of what needs to be processed out of the body down to the molecule, where it's located in the body and how it's interconnected through interdimensional consciousness and the soul and what they're here to evolve. So it's very intricate, actually, in my experience. Sometimes I will get very similar functions, but then I'm moving through the ancestral lineage and how it's connected to that individual in time space. So it is very, like I said, quantum, it's spherical, it's non-linear, even though we're having a linear experience. Now, as a trainer, how there's a progression that occurs. We are all gifted. We are all seers. And the first way that I train people is, let's finger paint. Get your markers out, get your colors out. We start with drawing stick figures and mapping auras and stuff like that. And then people's gifts just start coming online. So there's a method and playfulness to how I like to train people. And it starts with getting out of the mind and trusting your senses and your body, because that information travels through the body first. It's not a mental thing. It happens through the brain as far as functionality, but not a mental thing that you can manufacture or engineer. Now, depending on the realm you are working with. So for example, if I'm working with the angelic realm, the shapes, colors, vibrations that come through in the way that my specific site is going to be different than if I'm working with like a soul retrieval or an imprint release in the earth, or if I'm doing an activation, which is different than healing. So it just depends on the specific ways in which our human body is going to open to deliver a specific frequency. But a lot of us and a lot of my students are very similar as far as we'll have different experiences in the clairvoyance, which is the ability to see. Mm-hmm.
Well, how do we recognize, well, just an entry level, how do we recognize our own starting power, our own frequency, as you were, I guess?
I think recognition begins with the inability, with the ability to stop denying. And when you stop denying your innate power, when you stop denying who and what can move through you, meaning your soul or your human potentials, then you get out of the way. And that's when our deeper connection with Creator God starts to take over, which that's submission. That's us getting out of the driver's seat. So it begins with intuition, no longer ignoring, and that opens up a channel. That opens up more availability for that life force, that divine, again, information to take a hold of this intelligent form called the human vessel. So when we allow ourselves to have access to divine inspiration, and I don't mean inspiration as motivation, I mean inspiration as information, intelligence in order to take action. Then we follow through on the new thought forms. So maybe today I am going to listen to my intuition. Maybe I'm going to take a left instead of a right while I'm driving. Maybe that little hunch. Okay, so we take these little actions, and that begins to allow, again, the opening. And so we're going back to, okay, what is the quantum field per my own definition, through my own experiences in working with others. Then we enter a 0-point energy field where all is accessible as a multidimensional being. And then we, in linear time, as we're experiencing right now in the third dimension, then we have a choice. Are we going to take action or not? Are we going to listen or not? The more that we are able to cultivate a deep trust within our inner being. There's a cricket in here. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
I didn't know if it was here or on your end. I could hear it.
There's a cricket. Sorry. I was like, oh, okay, what is that? It's a cricket. So the more that we are able to, lean into the unseen, okay, or into those the forces, the unseen forces, which are really the molecules that are supporting matter, then we begin to, one, heal, have access to more information, have access to the ability for more of our emotional, spiritual and intelligence to come online.
Okay, and I know maybe I've asked this before. How do we start to activate some of our powers in meditation or any special?
Sure. Yeah. As a yoga teacher, I think, and just in my own life, I think that meditation is key, because that's going to harmonize your left and right brain. It's going to, the deeper you go, you're going to have the ability to generate your own DMT, which is going to nourish the brain and give you access again to more information, which is a natural chemical that we produce while we're sleeping. The deeper we can meditate, the more access that we have to our interdimensional and multidimensional consciousness. Not just as curious souls who are evolving, but also to deepen our connection with God, which is the one that provides all, anyway. All right. But next, from a more logical standpoint, is we want to take a more logical approach to, okay, when I close my eyes, do I see colors? And if so, what? Or sometimes I'll ask, people, whether it's in a one-on-one session or if we're training, we have the ability to locate or bilocate within our own bodies, our own energy field, what is in alignment and what is out of alignment with our soul's momentum. So first of all, the first indication is going to be pain. Where is my nervous system sending a pain signal? Is it in my low back? Is it in my shoulders? Is it in my chest? Is it in my neck? Okay. So that's going to be a very first indication of, hey, there's an alarm system going off here. Okay. Now, in order to access the intelligence inside of your body, we need to slow down our brain waves, which means we slow down our breath, which means we begin to calm the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous systems in our body. Okay. So if we travel mentally or visualize, okay, there's this alarm system going off in my left hip. Okay, if it were a color, or if it were a set of colors, what color would it be? Okay, now I want you to draw that. What shape is it or shapes? And then what's behind it is another shape or color, emotion, sensation. So we're doing a little bit in our work here. Okay. Now we have located what's out of alignment. Now you're actually working with the quantum field. You're already opening up the channels into a higher dimensional state for information to come through. You've lowered your brain waves, which means you've relaxed the molecules inside of your body. So quantum physics, when we relax the molecules, light comes through. New information, a new shape begins to occur. Okay. So then we'll ask, okay, what's the color, sound, vibration that needs to come in to unlock it or heal it? And you have that information right inside of you. So we're exercising our clairvoyance and our hyper intelligence to the healer within, or the guru within, or the teacher within, to make that conscious connection. But we're not doing the work. We're our own intelligent being. So I would say, start there. Start with your own body. Play with that. Ask, okay, well, what is this? What color is it? What shape is it? What colors? We don't want to get looped into the story. Then you're just reinforcing the pattern in the nervous system of that loop of quote unquote pain. I'm sharing this because I lost my ability to walk in 2018. I have spinal stenosis, 6 herniated discs, a 7 impingement, 7mm impingement on my spinal cord. And this is a lot of the work that I did, of course, in meditation, nursing 2 kids, to be able to rehabilitate myself through breath and sound, and finding the opposite frequency to create what I said a moment ago, the 0-point energy field, to where God can flow, or that intelligence, that grace can have access to your consciousness. Start with colors, start with shapes. Have fun like we did in preschool as a kid. Serious, I'm so serious.
Yeah, that's what I was going to sort of indicate. Like it's just sort of playtime, you just make fun. Are the children, well, quite a few children are recognized as have greater psychic ability. Actually, a lot of children now, crystal children, remember past lives up until a certain point where they socialize to forget those past lives. But all the thoughts about past lives and things, are they just part of the interdimensional system? I mean, are we living lives concurrently through different dimensions, do you think?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So there's so many ways that I want to answer this or respond to this, not answer, but respond. And so as a healer or processor of information, yes, there are past lives and future lives that are playing out. This is a memory field. Okay, we are in a memory field. Your DNA, your RNA is a memory field. Even what you're uploading, these activations that are occurring naturally through the sun right now is a memory field. We are in time space embodying a memory, and we have access to continue our to upload our preferences, if you will. Okay. But what I find especially unique, and again, this is just coming through my vessel, is that we are collapsing those memories, sending them back to the Almighty, so that way we have new experiences in the universe through this human template. So that's why I say yes and no. So I feel personally, one, we start with our spiritual awakening. Oh, okay. I'm not here to just live a 9 to, to work and then move through my life and then bye-bye. I might have a soul calling. Oh, there's things to heal. Oh, I can activate. Oh, I can manifest. Oh, I can contribute my unique soul gifts to another human being or to a community, or vice versa. And that community including the plants, the animals, the star nations that we interface with, the mammals. And so I feel like we're collapsing this data in our energy field, in our DNA, to explore unique possibilities on this planet that we haven't had access to. And so I feel like a lot of us are here because, one, we came to contribute, because we have at the soul level memories or information that can contribute to, I'd like to say, unity consciousness, or the progression of the universe through this planet, or more love or peace, technological, spiritual advancements that that we can give to our each individual at the soul level. And then secondary, as we open up at the collective level through time space, then we again are able to dissolve beyond past lives. This is our intergalactic history. This is our soul history that may not be so favorable, that is playing out in timelines and projecting in. So it's not just human past lives, it's intergalactic past soul lives. Okay, so we're doing a lot of that processing right now.
Do you have an idea what the measure of dimensions are? I mean, I know we hear numbers, people put out numbers, 12, 27, 1,000, whatever. Is there a limit? I mean, have you perceived a limit of it?
In my courses, I only teach up to 12.
Okay.
And that is not to create a limit. That's to keep it simple. In my own vessel, and what I've learned as an astral traveler, and is we will hit these harmonics. So if we think of sound theory, or if we think of music, there's going to be an overtone and another overtone and another overtone. We know that the universe is infinite. What matters is our own unique connection and perception, because what I perceive in the body is going to be definitely different to all of your beautiful souls' perceptions in the body. What I have learned, and a lot of what my artwork does as far as the channeler, because I'm an artist as well, is bringing forward the information of the plan. Okay, well, if you travel here, this is how you unlock into another dimension, into another dimension, into another dimension. That brings forward linear, time-space linear information into the now present. So I would say infinite. In this universe, there's realms within realms. There's
right.
Information within information, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean. So in the way that I teach, it's 12, but you go explore you through your vessel, through your infinite chakra system. There's not just 22 chakras. Once you get into your astral body, then you're going to flip up again into those harmonics, which holds a container for your astral bodies, if you will. So you can move up and down and up and down and begin to explore.
Have you perceived any communication, anything with other beings in the universe?
Oh yeah.
I mean, not just in a different life, but just currently. I mean, you just one day you say, "Oh, okay, we."
Mm-hmm. All my
But
life.
what? Okay. But what are those beings? What are they? Just light? Are they just energy? How do you perceive
Oh,
them?
sure. Some of them are, oh gosh, this is fun. Some of them are just light. Some of them are like fields of consciousness. Some of them are like gelatinous or like plasmic bodies, not humanoid. Like
Yeah.
I've interfaced with some that kind of look like jellyfish, and they're and again, this is like we get into a meditative state, which creates a bass tone, so that way we can elevate. But our job is to not get distracted, but to explore. And so when we open up those fields, then we have access to more telepathic information or interfacing. And oh yeah, they'll come and they just look like as plain as day, like this, like oh yeah. So some of them, yes, depending on the dimensional frequency and planet, if you will, because some of them are not even on planets. Some of them are, again, through realms of color and sound. They'll be in plasmic bodies. And again, like I said, some of them are just fields of consciousness. I was working with a gentleman the other day, and we were doing an activation. I was like, oh wow, your star, one of your star people, your star family is coming through. And I got the star map, and I call them star maps. I don't know what else to call them, but they got the star map, and it was, we traveled through, not we, like I'm guiding a meditation, but his people spoke to me, and they were very close to the belt of Orion, and they were called if I remember, sorry, I have a photographic memory, so I'm going to it. The Rakshis, and they had this like cuboid, very beautiful beings, cuboid head that projected like Metatron's cubes and sent like a lot of love, like, and again, like sound vibration, that were there like holding space. So and of course Syrians, like a lot of like what people channel, like as far as like spiritual beings, or races, if you will, the Pleiadians, Arcturians, Lyrians, Andromedans, so those are very popular or very well known. So, well, depending on the community and what you subject yourself to. um I interface with these beings called the Unarians, which are, they're gold, and they have been stationed outside of our sun, and they go back and forth between the central sun and here, and they're collecting a lot of data and really helping shield a lot of the photonic light so that there's not too much abrupt evolution happening. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. That's why as a trainer, I'm very, very protective when we get into interdimensional interfacing, because it is kind of like anything goes out there, and we as a species are evolving so quick, and we're curious. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. There's a lot out there that might not have a peaceful agenda for the human species. So I like to train my students, know yourself first, know your connection with God first, bring your intuition with you. You bring it with you through the cosmos too. All right, you just don't leave it here on earth. You bring it with you. If it doesn't feel good, you back out. All right. But ultimately, when you know your soul frequency, when you know your sovereignty, when you know your connection with God, yeah, bring that with you too. Because we are cosmic beings, we are star people, and we're just remembering how this technology works as we again awaken through the interdimensional consciousness. So it's normal and natural.
All right. A lot of these thoughts, processes, you've developed on your own. Are there any groups that you share information with, or that are doing something similar to what you're doing?
I personally don't look at other channelers or other people's information. At the age of 15, God was very specific and told me, like, shut off the TV, and I don't like to have my own mind infiltrated, so that way I can keep a pure channel as much as possible. So I can't tell you if there are other people doing what I'm doing. I can just tell you the way that God is moving through me, in the way that I share information. I have a YouTube channel. I have a membership where I teach people about their gifts, and I also help spiritual beings. What I mean by spiritual, activated people in their mission who are developing these senses, who know that they have a deep innate calling, how to monetize it, because I also believe in the sovereignty of their own, of us co-creating our own economy. But what I know that there's a lot of channelers out there. I don't know if anybody's training the way that I do. I have done research. I haven't seen anything as far as what I combine, which is Sankhya philosophy, yoga, breathwork, mantra, meditation, of course, movement, somatic body work, and then, like I said, I've created my own accredited school where I teach people and move them through a process, a linear process of, okay, first we're establishing your sight. This is the ability to read auras. Then we move into the ability to utilize your telekinetic gifts to heal. I take you into reading the inside the body. So you have, you will learn your systems, your physiology, a little bit of kinesiology, your organs, etc., the nervous system, because you need to understand your template. And then we move into interdimensional consciousness, not as spiritual seekers, as medicine people, because we do come from the earth. We are medicine beings of Pachamama, Mother Earth. And I truly believe that we are embodying her medicine and her love. And so there's a natural way that we are here to live in accordance with the way that the cosmos are influencing us. And so I teach people, don't do it my way. I'm going to teach you a method. And then you listen to the teacher within you. If you're here to channel, from your soul or a specific realm or whatever, or the water, I'm serious. Or if you have codes that are here to be shared, you bring it out in your way. My job is to train, empower, and move us out of fear. So I can't tell you. I'm focused.
Do you sort of generally see that our culture is evolving or de-evolving, or I think evolving is what I'm looking for. If we're becoming better informed, if we're becoming more evolved as spirituals.
What's really unique about this question, Mark, and it's so sweet, is after the solstice, summer solstice, for those of us who are on the Western Hemisphere, I was tapping into Mother, and I was looking at her systems inside of the earth and what she's doing, and how much love and I'm not sorry, but I'm just feeling her love and just the purity and the water and the way that she's evolving her planet. We have no choice but to surrender. So are we evolving? Yes. We're evolving quickly. I mean, I'm here basically on the border of Colorado and New Mexico. And there's life where there's never been life. There's deserts that are growing new life. What matters, and how, again, we as energetic beings, if we use our consciousness in tandem together and we focus our energy as a collective towards evolution and focusing our frequencies, then yeah, we're learning to do that. We're not going to de-evolve. I don't see that. I was channeling also the same day that, and I haven't shared it with the collective yet, that by between 2032 and 2036, most human beings are going to reach this peak of not just love and bliss, and I'm not saying this in a fluffy way, but very grounded. Like we are gonna be at the cusp of fully releasing the traumas from our DNA. Yeah, we are evolving. Mhm.
Now that's good to hear because, we know the world politics and all this, and it just makes it seem like we're not learning anything, we're not cooperating, we're not getting better as societies, I would think. And I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you if you live in a special place in terms of if you've, over the course of your life, you found a special place that is energetic for you.
You know, I have the privilege of, again, I chose my family. I have the privilege of being the seventh generation here in Southern Colorado. And the land that I'm living on is part of my divine assignment. Um, and we were here since before it was the state of Colorado. And I'm a millennial, I'm 36 years old, and I rerouted myself here. I live in a 250-year-old adobe house. The land is pure. There's no trauma here because we're still here, we're still living. My soul does like to travel to specific hotspots. I really love, for about 3 years, I was traveling every single month to Sedona, Arizona, which is a hot spot like Mount Shasta. But the grid where I work, I work the grid like a lot of us, is pristine and beautiful and up and coming. But I just want to also share that although we all in some way prefer a higher vibration, of course, not to run away from doing the work wherever we live. We can transmute anything. And again, the more that we come together, like we're doing here, thankfully, to you showing up, Mark and Ernie and Adriana, we are collecting and transferring energy across the grid and bringing through our codes just by being together in community. And that's what's important.
Okay, I see that it's 6:45. And I know you had a time constraint. So if anybody's got an additional question, maybe we can squeeze that in. I don't see any coming up. So Kierra, thank you very much. It's been very interesting, very helpful, and we've enjoyed it immensely. And I know we'll have some conversations ongoing. So thank you for tonight's discussion. And for everyone that joins our discussions every Tuesday at 7 p.m., we would have a new guest and we'll have a new discussion. So thank you.
Good night. I just want to say good night to Mark, Ernie, Adriana, Brianna, Kat, and Luce. Good night. And all of you who are going to be watching the replay. Thank you for your time. Good night.